Hello everyone, Mike here. Welcome to another episode of High Heels of Bitcoin series. My guest today is Zayi Reyes. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Hi Zayi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me, Mike.
Well, I'm pretty good, but it's the third day of rain in Poland, so...
Oh. Yeah, well, I'm in Los Angeles, so it's a bit sunnier than that.
Yeah, I heard that California is pretty cool. The same weather every around the year.
Yeah, almost every day. Yeah, I'm very lucky to be here. It's beautiful.
So maybe some little introduction, maybe a few words about yourself.
Sure. Yeah, so Zayi is the name. It's kind of a hard one, but I love it. And I am I'm from California, but originally actually from South America. And came here when I was young, and so I grew up mainly in the States. But I think that really gave me a good background for crypto, to be honest with you, considering how it all works and how it interoperates, globally. And so how I got into crypto is kind of crazy, but I was still in college at the time, and I decided to do an internship at an ad tech startup out here in LA that was working on, ad tech management, things like that. And so I was studying advertising and marketing, and I thought that it made a ton of sense for me to go work at an advertising company. Well, I got there, and while they were doing advertising, in the background, they were building a blockchain backend, and I did not know what was going on. So they started to explain to me what it was, essentially. So I started to learn about blockchain. I started to learn about cryptocurrency. I had heard of it, but I wasn't fully aware of how it worked. And so luckily we were working with Consensus and Microsoft as well. So I had some very talented developers on the team. And I remember it was 2016, one of the developers sent me $5 in Bitcoin, and I had no idea even how to get it. They helped me create a Coinbase account. And as you can imagine, over the next couple of years, that $5 grew and grew and grew. So it was a very good introduction. And from there, I started to really research the space and learn how it worked a lot more. And after I graduated, I decided to stay with the startup, and I worked there for a couple of years, developing marketing for they had a token, so developing marketing for their token, as well as their strategy to bring in, new users to the ad tech platform we were building, and keep going from there. So it really kind of became, from starting point, just something I knew nothing about, to by the end of the couple years I was there, a complete obsession.
I've missed that. Exactly what year was when you learned about Bitcoin and blockchain?
2016.
Oh, so you're in the space longer than me. I started in 2017. Of course, yeah. I've heard about Bitcoin in 2010, but then okay, there's some.
I heard about it early too, yeah. And I wish I had paid attention more.
Yeah, like we all. Yeah, all right, but of course the main topic of our discussion is unstoppable domains, because that's how we got in touch. I found out about this the blog, and then I have sent an email concerning my .crypto domain, and you contacted me, and that's how it all started.
Yeah, that was pretty easy, huh? Yeah, you think you just reached out asking, if you could get your domain and whatnot. And so I handle the partnerships for the company. So when there's people like you who are, asking for more information about how you can get involved. So, but yeah, so I joined the team about a year ago now, and I handle the partnerships for them. And that has to do with a lot of different things. We are still somewhat of a startup, so I wear a lot of hats, but I sometimes reach out to wallets and exchanges to chat with them, content creators like yourself, and other sorts of partnerships that might make sense for us at the moment. And Unstoppable Domains really excited me when I learned about the project, because it was something that you could use today. I love the crypto space. It's super interesting, but I do think that sometimes there are a lot of future projects that don't necessarily exist yet. And so I wanted to work in something that I could make useful today, right now, have users, and really get going with. So that's kind of what drew me into the team. And just the team moves so fast, and they're just super excited about what we're building. And I love that passion. So that's how I got involved. And how Unstoppable Domains works, if it's helpful, I can kind of share what the project is and how it works. But so essentially, we're building blockchain domains. So you can think about traditional domain name systems, right? Like .com, .org. We're trying to do all that, but on the blockchain. So our extensions are .crypto and .zil. And the two main use cases for decentralized domains is, one, to replace your cryptocurrency address with a human readable name. So you have MikeSatoshi.crypto, and you can replace your Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum address, etc., all with the same name. And when you send cryptocurrency to those to MikeSatoshi.crypto, it can route to the address you have attached to that domain name. So that's the first part. And then the second part is that we're building decentralized websites as well. So we are partnered with IPFS, and we also are partnered with Pinata, and we are building these decentralized websites on the blockchain. So you can actually type in, for me, Zaji.crypto, using our extension or Opera Android browser to type in Zaji.crypto and actually access my decentralized website. And what's exciting about that is, since the website lives on the blockchain, there's no third parties involved. You're not building this on GoDaddy, for example. You're building it using your private key on the blockchain, and only you can access it. So that is very powerful. It creates a censorship resistant tool that anybody in the world can use to build products and to, have global free speech. And that is something that I find extremely valuable.
Yeah, that's great. So basically it's like a shortcut for my Bitcoin, Ethereum or other address. But my question, I just thought about it. What happens when somebody uses my MikeSatoshi.crypto and, for example, tries to send me BTC and I didn't assign my BTC address?
Yeah, so it will actually not resolve. So if you type in, so you have to use a partner wallet to send cryptocurrency using a .crypto domain. So for example, Trust Wallet is a partner. If you type in MikeSatoshi.crypto in Trust Wallet and there's no BTC address, it will just say, domain does not resolve or something like that.
So it's like real time translation, just like DNS. That's just like DNS.
Yes, just like the traditional domain name system, we're trying to bring that onto the blockchain.
Yeah, that's good. That's a great idea, and those decentralized blocks are a very great idea because it's censorship proof. We all hear about this censorship thing, about YouTube, about Facebook, about Twitter. Although I think Twitter is the least censoring one. Yeah, because you can get censored very easily on YouTube. I've been attacked, I might say, 4 times. Once my entire account was removed. Of course, they rolled it back and it's all back. But of course, it wasn't even censorship. It was like testing some weird algorithms, and I was a victim of these tests. So
yeah, and I've heard a lot of different reasons for why these YouTube attacks are happening, and some people are saying it's like a group of people flagging YouTubers, or some people have a theory that YouTube's out to get crypto YouTubers. I don't fully know, what everybody's situation is, but what is really cool is that if you use these decentralized websites, you can archive your content. You can upload your web, you can upload your videos, you can upload for the decentralized blog ones, you can upload content that you've written that you don't want taken down. And even if you're not using it on a day-to-day aspect, at least it's somewhere that you can archive everything and you won't lose it. Because like you said, it is very difficult for content creators if their content's taken down. That's like your livelihood, and you've worked so hard to create that.
Yeah, of course. And you can lose money, you can lose partnerships, all those things. To be honest, I don't believe that YouTube or Google wants to censor crypto itself, because they could do that like that. They could just input Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies and censor and delete all the channels. So I still think it's some kind of algorithm testing. And then about this reporting thing, trust me, we tried to report some really bad video. There was some guy riding his car, and 4 of his kids were on the back seat without any seat belts, so it was dangerous. And we were like 300, 400, 500 people reporting this video. They didn't take it down, so it's not that easy. So I think it was some kind of test, and we are like the lab rats. They want to test it on us, and what can we do? Like cryptocurrency is a small space, is a small industry. It's not like we have YouTubers who have tens of millions of subscribers, so they have direct contact with YouTube, so they can do whatever they want. But I hope that this new, I think Donald Trump said something about you cannot censor the content, so maybe it will change something.
Yeah, no, it's definitely true. I think creating tools like this is valuable for people all over the world. You know, I think sometimes there's a misconception that censorship doesn't happen in the US, but it does happen in the US, and it happens in a lot of countries. And so just having the power to be able to build your own content that, you know, for us, these decentralized websites are stored in your wallet. So only you can access it using your private keys. I mean, that's huge. Nobody else can touch it. And so I'm hoping that more and more people will learn about this, and we'll build content on the decentralized web.
Yeah. By the way, do you use IPFS system, or all those block entries go to the Ethereum blockchain?
It's all built on IPFS. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that way because I think it would be too much for Ethereum to handle, and it would cost too much to put everything on this blockchain. So yeah, IPFS is much faster, much cheaper, I think. Yeah. All right. And about this censorship thing, you are right, because when you ask someone about censorship, what they will say? They will say North Korea, China, maybe some third world countries. The people don't realize that there is huge censorship in Europe, in USA, and in biggest countries of the world.
Yeah, it's all over. I mean, it's hard because, you know, third parties have so much control over our content, and they really do have the on and off switch to take things on and off of the internet. So it is important that, you know, whether or not you're saying something that you want stored forever, at least you know that it's content that you own. I think that that's really the purpose here, is that you can build it yourself, you know where it's stored, and you have it safe in your wallet. That's the most valuable part of it all. And like you said, censorship can happen anywhere at any time. So even if you don't think that you're somebody that can make value from this, I think you should still pay attention to it. And I don't think it hurts to at least create a blog or a website where you can host this at some point.
Yeah, that's a great solution. Not only those shortcuts for your wallets, that's really useful. I hope that all crypto or all major crypto wallets will start using it, but also this decentralized block. So yeah, great idea.
Thank you. No, I'm super excited to be a part of the team. I just think that the stuff that we're building is really going to disrupt some traditional systems a lot. And there's a lot in the works as well, so stay tuned. But we're not just going to be doing this. We're hoping to do more than just the decentralized websites. We want to get involved in other aspects of communication as well.
And you've told me that you can even use this .crypto website to redirect to your, for example, normal websites. You can use that too, not only IPFS decentralized blocks, but you can use it like normal DNS.
Yeah, so there is an option when you go into your decentralized website aspect of your .crypto domain. You can go in and it says redirect your traditional website to your IPFS site. So you can actually put in your .com information and it will redirect.
Yeah, cool. All right, my next question is, I'm not sure I will pronounce it correctly, Meta Gamma Delta or Meta Gamma Delta. This sounds for me like some students' house or students' union, you know. So what is it?
Yeah, so it sounds like that, right? So essentially what Meta Gamma Delta is it's a DAO that I'm involved in. So for your community that may not be as familiar with DAOs, it's DAO, and it stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. So these DAOs are popping up all over the crypto space for different purposes. So what we are is we're like it's the exact name, decentralized group that can form in the way that you no longer need a hierarchical system to create these groups. So people can just join these in different ways. Each group has a different onboarding process, and each DAO has a different purpose. So Meta Gamma Delta was actually formed at ETH Denver earlier this year, which was a blockchain Ethereum focused conference in February. And it was a few women in the space decided, there's a few DAOs already out there, but they're a bit male heavy. The guys are super cool. We do really like them, but there's nothing specifically for women. So it was 3 women that started it: Sydney Lai, Juliana, and Mahoney Turnbow. And they all decided, you know what, we want to do something for women. And so they started Meta Gamma Delta. And like you said, it has a sorority name, which is kind of the purpose. It's supposed to be somewhat of like a parody and showing that, we're women in the space and we're a sorority, but at the same time, we are genuinely serious about blockchain, and we do actually want to build things and create a difference. So it kind of reminds me of like your high heels of Bitcoin name. It's kind of supposed to sound feminine, but in reality, we're talking about serious matters here, right?
Yes, exactly.
So yes, it's the same.
Yes, the same vision, I can say. So basically, that's why I have those sweet avatars, I can say, because when someone looks at the cover, okay, what they will talk about? Maybe some fashion, maybe some beauty, and we talk about really serious stuff like unstoppable domains. So I will be gladly invite some other girls to to my Hobbies of Bitcoins, so you can.
You should. We've so when they started, like I said, it was only 3 people, but it actually has grown to about 23 women now. We have a general Telegram chat with I think over 100 women, but like actual members who have pledged to be a part of it is about 23, if I'm not wrong. And now our goal moving forward is to fund women-led initiatives and also builds cool projects and create educational material for women. So we're kind of doing a few different things. We've done, like we built an introduction to DeFi handbook for women. So it's a bit more tailored towards somebody like a female looking to learn more about personal finance. And then we've done, we actually had a personal finance workshop that we held, and we had, I think, like 30 women on that call. It was just a big Zoom call, and we chatted about ways that you can invest your crypto, ways that you can invest even your fiat, just ways that you can learn how to handle your money better. And then we also will be having a personal privacy course coming up that we're going to hold, just so you can learn how to, use a VPN and how to make sure your data isn't being accessed by third parties. And so our main goal is just to help educate more women and raise funds for women-led projects. And the last thing I will say is we're also doing a Gitcoin grant program right now to raise some funds for that. So definitely check it out.
Wow, that's a great initiative, I may say.
Thank you. And we have a lot of support from a lot of the guys and, a lot of other DAOs in the space. And it's great to see everybody kind of unite to get more women involved.
Yes, I completely agree. That's why I started the show, because I want to get more women involved. When I started studying computer science back in 2000, or I think it was 1999, there were like 150 people on my I don't know how to call it, studying year. So my for example, I started studying and there were like 3 or 4 ladies. So it's changing.
It's tough,
But it was 21 years ago, so yeah, it changed. A lot has changed. So it's not like back then the women were afraid of the computers, so they were like single geeks using computers. But now I think there are more ladies coming to the blockchain. And let me tell you about this Polish initiative, because there are 2 ladies in Poland who started Blockchain Girls, and they do the same thing like you do. They organize some local crypto meetups for ladies. Of course, anyone can join, but it's mostly for ladies. And last time it was in Warsaw before this COVID-19, and it was like 100 ladies and 3 men, myself included. So yeah.
So for once you were in the minority group.
Yeah, and that's great because there were some great lectures there, women oriented. So yeah, men are like the main difference between men and women in this space is like guys are like either very professional programmers, developers, they live in their own reality, or some
True.
crazy people. I will buy this because this one on YouTube told me that it will let me earn my first million. It will let me buy my Lambo. And women are like they are like, for example, soft approach. What is this project about? How can I learn more? How can I educate myself? So yeah, from my perspective,
Yeah, there are kind of a big difference, but I also want women to be loud too. Like that's something that I'm trying to encourage through things like Meta Gamma Delta and even like with Unstoppable Domains, you know, they've given me a platform and a voice to share my story and to chat with people about. And so I've learned that like just because you're a woman doesn't mean people don't want to hear your opinion, and they value your experience as well.
Yes, of course. Women are mostly shy, but there are some examples that you can be confident, then you can be whoever you want to be. And during my High Heels of Bitcoin interviews, I have met some that are pretty confident and super confident, and yeah, it is great. All right, I've been doing some little research about you, and I found this Web3 addict. Can you tell me more about this enigmatic?
Yes, it's on. I think it's on my Twitter bio. I have that I'm a Web3 addict, and it's true. So, like I said, when I first started working in crypto, I came in, you know, I didn't even mean to work in crypto, so I really came in looking for an advertising, you know, option for me to work in full time. And then I ended up learning about blockchain, and it immediately clicked for me. I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is something that I really, I wish I had learned about sooner, and I'm glad I'm learning about now. And it's something that can just infiltrate so many industries when you really think about it. You know, you could use a blockchain for anything almost. I mean, it's not, you know, be smart, don't use it for things that you don't need it, but it really can be used for a lot of different industries and use cases. And so once I realized that, I kind of realized that Web3 was like the new world. And I think that we're right now at a point where it's almost like the early 90s when we were building the internet. We're kind of doing the same thing with blockchain and building Web3 and the future of blockchain products. But I'm excited to see where it will go, because I see a lot of initiatives that are going to make a difference, and that I think are building off of traditional systems like we're doing with Unstoppable Domains, building off of traditional DNS. You know, I think a lot of companies are seeing the way the traditional world works and trying to enhance it with more privacy options and maybe more you know, security measures, so that you can still create similar things, but there's enhanced features to it. So for me, Web3 is just a way that we can build better products. I also think that it bridges us to more people too. I think a lot of Web 2 is very regional, very focused on certain areas of the world. Like, you know, like if you're on a team, you only talk to your department. Whereas like in Web 3, a lot of companies are distributed already. You know, we're decentralized. We work all over the world. And I've, in the past few years, met more people in my life than I have at any other point, and from all over the world in all walks of life. And so that's why I think Web3 is really exciting.
Yeah, and I think the current situation with COVID-19 even accelerated this progress, because there is remote working. Some companies found out that they can work remotely. Their employees can work from home, and they are as efficient as sitting on a desk in the company building. So yeah, so it changed a lot. Mm-hmm. All right, my next question is, how do you feel as a woman in this male-dominated space? Because I think we can safely say that it's still male-dominated. There are more and more ladies coming to this space. I think it was a first quarter of this year that number of women in this space increased by 42% or something like that. Did you ever have any bad experiences in your life, in the crypto space, of course, because I can assume that every every female had some bad experience with men. So I'm asking about this crypto related stuff, blockchain related.
Sure. No, I think that's a valuable question. It's definitely, I think that, like you said, there's been a ton more women joining, which I'm super excited about. But yeah, for a while it has been pretty male heavily dominated. But I will say, luckily, I worked with some really genuinely nice people. I haven't had any issues in my companies or anything like that. The men I've worked with, if anything, have given me a place to learn and to not like, so when I first joined the space, I was very timid of like asking questions because I wasn't technical or anything like that. And I learned quickly that the developers were not judgmental. You know, they wanted to help me. If I had a question, they'd answer immediately. So I started to kind of become more and more confident. I think that the guys also helped me by teaching me things that I didn't know about before. And so I've been really encouraged by the community. I would say too, like being in this DAO, it's nice to see how other DAOs that have more men, you know, still want to support us. So I think Meta Cartel is another DAO in the space, and it's mainly men. There are women in it as well, but all of the guys in that group actually are supporting us through their Gitcoin grant right now. So all of the funds that they raise are being given to Meta Gamma Delta. So things like that, examples like that kind of prove to me that there is a lot of positive, positivity still happening, and people just want to bring more women and more diverse perspectives into the space.
Yeah, and that's great. That's great because I think it was one or two ladies who told me that they had some bad experiences with men, but of course there is some bad seed or bad apple in the space. You can always meet someone who will disrespect you, who will say, "Go to the kitchen, women. What are you doing here?" So, but yeah, this space, I think this space is full of decent people. So,
and I think like what's cool about this space is that people value ideas, and everybody wants to learn, right? Like crypto moves a million miles per hour, and there's always something new to learn. And I still haven't been able to learn everything, but I think because it is such a innovative space, as long as you have something to say that has a very valuable opinion, or that people want to hear, it doesn't matter what you look like, what background you have, who you are. I think people just want to know what that is and if they can build it with you.
Yes, maybe it's because blockchain is completely new technology. It's like 10 years, 11 years old. So, okay, blockchain is older, but it became popular.
A lot of the stuff that's been built has been more recent. Yeah,
Bitcoin started it, and it's like it's mainstream for maybe it started in 2017 when Bitcoin reached all-time high. And so there are new, young, creative people, and they value creativity. So, like you've said, they don't care about your background because it's something new. It's not like you can be a professor of blockchain.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Yeah. So when I talk to people, sometimes it's funny because I am obviously younger than a lot of other people that I meet in the space, but I've worked in it just as long as they have. So like we have about the same amount of information. Like it's interesting. You don't have to be a certain age or a certain type of person. You don't even necessarily have to have like a college education. Like you just really need to be willing to learn, to read, to update yourself on the space and to try it out. I always think that the best way to learn crypto is to do it, to take action in it. So whether that's buying your first $5 of Bitcoin, or it's even as intense as, putting some crypto into compound and, gaining interest on your crypto. Like there's such a wide range of things that you can do, but if you don't try it, you'll never know. And so I think that that's the best way to get involved. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you about current market situation, but it will not be about the prices. So basically for me, 2017 and 2018 was like the age of ICOs. ICOs were everywhere. Then 2019 was the despair. Bitcoin collapsed to 3K. Some people were trying those IEOs. And now I think it's the age of DeFi. Do you think that it's the best time to start your own business in crypto? Because for me, it's always you have to build early, not when everyone is going crazy about blockchain. about Bitcoin, about the current president. When someone told me that when a taxi driver tells you about Bitcoin, then it's time to sell. So yeah, from the industry, from the company building point of view, because personally for me, I think it's the best time to start your adventure.
No, I do think it's actually a good time. I think there's a few things to take into account. I mean, right now we do have a ton of people coming into the space. I feel like there's a bit more of a mainstream push right now. Even just my friends here that are not crypto, people have been asking me more and more about it. You could take that as a good or a bad thing. It might be getting overinflated, not sure, but I think that it's good that people are interested. I think that there's a lot of money right now flowing through the space, especially like you were mentioning, like it is the age of DeFi right now. That's like what's hot. Everybody wants to talk about it. So specifically a DeFi project right now is a great thing to think about, because there's a lot of resources available, and there's a lot of communities where you can share, what you're building and ask people for help and whatnot. And then I think from like Unstoppable Domains, we're seeing a lot of users coming in that actually want to build. I think, this is my opinion, but I think like in 2017, 2018 with the ICO phase, it was more just speculative.
Yeah.
And now I think you're actually seeing people understand that this is the time to actually build something. We've kind of gotten over the whole speculative phase. I mean, there's always going to be investors, but I think that people now realize more so what the value of blockchain is and what you can do with it. And now people are actually building. So to me, that is more exciting.
Yeah, I completely agree. 2017, 2018 was like, what are you doing? Blockchain. But what exactly? Blockchain. Yeah. Can you tell me more about it? We have to raise the money and then we will think about it. So yeah.
I kind of feel like, unfortunately, like people were going into it very blindly. And now that that's kind of calmed down, you can really see what projects hold value and where you can actually build something, or where you can invest more safely. Now there's safer platforms for things like that. So I think that things have matured a little bit. Of course, we have plenty of room to grow, and there's going to be much more improvements in the next few years, but we're at a more like level-headed place, in my opinion. So that makes me hopeful for what's to come.
Yeah, and it's changing. I don't know if you've heard it, but it was yesterday or maybe today that PayPal considers buying and selling Bitcoin. So it's huge.
Yeah, I think that in Venmo. I think I saw that news.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely, a lot of companies are getting involved, and I read some report, now I'll have to find it and send it to you, but a lot of traditional companies at least have a percentage of their revenue invested in Bitcoin and, Ethereum, whatever it is, some sort of cryptocurrency. So that goes to show that even traditional mainstream markets think that there's value here.
Yeah, I think it was... it started a year ago or maybe a few months ago when financial advisors changed their mind and started saying it's okay to have like 2% or 5% of your value in Bitcoin. So they changed their mind.
Now they changed it.
Yeah, now for example, PayPal. I think it was CEO of PayPal that told that Bitcoin is will go to zero. It's out of thin air. So it's a complete waste of time, and now they want to start selling and buying Bitcoin. And there's also JP Morgan case. So they were like, banks itself were like, this is the wrong way, so we won't use it. And now JP Morgan, it was I think 2 months ago, all right Coinbase, all right Kraken, do you want us to run your bank accounts?
Yeah. No, it's true. And, I can't blame people. I mean, a few years ago, it was kind of scary. And like, it wasn't sure where this was going. And even to this day, price fluctuates a lot. So I don't blame people for being afraid of the volatility. But at the same time, I do think we've finally gotten to a point where there's more valuable products coming out that, mainstream people as well as crypto people can use. Even like Unstoppable is not it's almost like you're just replacing the name and you're using it to send and receive payments. So to me, we're starting to create concepts that the average person can walk in and with a little introduction could at least understand the general concept. So I think we're at a better place.
Yes, of course. 2017, 2018 was like 2017 especially, or maybe 2018 was like when your friends met you and they knew that you are in Bitcoin. So how is your Bitcoin? Have you lost everything?
Yeah, people thought I was crazy because and like I said, I was straight out of college, so like we weren't super affluent yet. You know, my friend group, we were just fresh out of school. It's not like we had a ton of money yet, and so people thought I was insane for like working in crypto. Yeah. They thought I'd lost everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think you have to be smart about it. You know, don't invest your entire life savings into crypto, but you know, invest what you're comfortable with. And I remember this, the first developer I talked to said, invest only what you're willing to lose.
Yeah.
But it's a good life motto because, I mean, luckily I've been okay. And I think that, you know, the crypto market has really bounced back, but regardless, like it is investments. It's not, you know, it's something that you have to take seriously.
Yeah. People don't realize that in old financial market, only 1 or 10% of all startups have reached the success. 90% of them collapse, bankrupt, end their work. So why would it be different in this space? Most of the projects must die because we don't need 100 payment coins, 500 smart contracts coins, and you know.
Yeah, no, this is the time where you're going to see kind of who is going to make it to the end, you know, which projects do people really want to use. So I think we're kind of still in that run right now. I'm not sure we've seen the full potential yet, but I do think we're at a point where there are a lot of competing projects out there that are kind of trying to make it to the biggest market cap and to the biggest, you know, user adoption. So I think in the next couple of years, we'll start to see which protocols are going to really last for a while.
Yeah, and I think people changed their attitude a bit, but it changed because 2017, 2018 was like, I still get those questions. What is better, Bitcoin or blockchain? And I'm like...
You're like, well, they're not the same thing. They're not comparable.
Yeah, and now they try to find more about the technology. Of course, I am pretty sure when Bitcoin price will reach its new all-time high, then people will be buying because only because the price is rising. It happened in 2019. Because I've been talking to some exchange owners or some local crypto exchanging stores, and it was like when Bitcoin was 3K, no one wanted to buy it. They were almost bankrupt. When Bitcoin was 5K, no one wanted to buy it. But when it reached 10K, it was like, okay, let me buy some Bitcoins. And when it was 13K, shut up and take my money.
They were in and they were out.
Yeah. All right. So, do you invest in cryptocurrencies? Do you have some favorite?
Yeah, I do. No, I do invest in crypto. I mean, I think it's kind of hard to work in the space and not do that. So from the beginning, I think I actually came into it more, even though I said I got those first $5, it was Bitcoin, but I was working on an Ethereum-based project at my first company, so I kind of got more into Ethereum in the beginning. So I think that's been like my first crypto love was Ethereum. I think because I saw the value of the fact that you could build on the Ethereum blockchain, not just use Ethereum for, you know, cryptocurrency purposes. I thought that it was cool that you could do both things. So for me, Ethereum was one of the things that I believed in from the start, and I still currently invest in Ethereum. And then I think Bitcoin was like the second, like most logical place for me to go. I thought that it held a bit more of stability, and I thought that the people involved in the Bitcoin space had a lot of value to add. So I've been investing in those two ever since. I've definitely dabbled in altcoins, but I'm not the biggest fan of altcoins. I don't know. I think that they're a bit harder to deal with, and I'm not a day trader. And then I'm a pretty big fan of DAI as well. That's, you know, you have to use DAI to pledged to be a part of Meta Gamma Delta, and it's also just used in a lot of different protocols, considering it's a stable coin. So to me, that's something that I also think is a great token to hold.
Yeah, the one thing you need to learn about this entire DeFi industry is that it's pretty new, and it can be dangerous. So there's a saying, don't put all eggs in one basket. So it's not like DeFi, let me go all in, let me sell my house, let me
yeah. No, I definitely think, like, do your research. I always tell everyone I can share as much value as I can as a friend, but I'm not a financial advisor, right? So you do really need to go in and do your research and understand how each project works, and make sure that, you know, there's a strong community behind it. Check out the Telegram channel, like, learn as much as you can before you just throw all your money in. Definitely.
Yes, but people want you to tell them what to buy, because I found out that people always want to find someone to blame. They don't want to take their own decisions, because if you take your own decision and you fail, you have no one to blame, and it's hard. You have to swallow it. And when you have someone to blame, it's not my fault, it's his fault. I have lost because of him.
Well, and that's why, you know, your job is so hard. I think, like, being a YouTuber in this space, you know, people are constantly asking you for price predictions, for, you know, which token should I buy, or what project should I invest in, and that's really hard. So, yeah, I give a lot of props to you guys who are publicly sharing your opinion. But for me, just somebody who works in the space, like, I'm happy to share my perspective, but I always tell people to do their research, and I send all of my friend resources so that they can learn.
Yeah, sometimes I'm pretty harsh, because I say, if the only reason you have bought this coin is because Mike Satoshi told that he likes this coin, then you're an idiot. I use that words exactly in Polish, of course, but it gets their attention. So it's your decision, it's your choice, it's your money, and it will be your loss. Don't blame me because I invest my own money. It's not like I have some hedge fund, or I give financial advice. I don't give them. I share my own opinion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, we really do. We still need, like, content creators like you, because you help share a lot of the education to the community, and that's something that I've learned in the past year working with content creators is, you know, people really value content creators' opinion. So we need you guys to continue sharing that. But yeah, you always have to deal with community as well, and make sure that you're handling it as best as you can.
Well, I think I have grown thick skin, so I can handle a lot, and to be honest, education is needed, because 30% of all emails, of all messages is like, Mike, I have lost my money, what can I do? And I start asking him about it, and okay, I have had this mobile phone wallet and it's gone. And then I ask him, do you have those 12 words? No, I have a password. And I'm like,
I know. And that's, so I will say that is the hardest thing about self-custody, right?
Yeah.
Unstoppable Domains is a self-custody solution. We can't access your domain if you lose it, unfortunately. But there's so much value, and, like, so it's so good for you to be able to hold your own content, or your own, you know, crypto or whatever it is. But there's that factor of making sure people understand how to do it safely. And I still think that we're actively working as a community to explain that to everyone. But if they can understand and grasp that part, and they can start to learn how to safely store their, you know, their seed phrases and things like that, hopefully people will get to a point where they get over that hurdle, and then they can really see why that's important, because self-custody is really important.
Yeah, and for me, it's like, when you have a small child, you can warn it about the fire. Don't put your hand into the fire. It won't listen to you. It won't listen to you. You can say it all you want until it puts its hand into the fire and finds out that it burns. So,
well, that's true. You do really learn from your own mistakes, you know. And this space is hard, but you have to be. I would say, and you make a mistake, part one, and part two, don't put everything into like one wallet, right? Like maybe don't put all your crypto in one place. Make sure that way, in case you lose one thing, you have backup places that it's stored. And yeah, there's a lot of alternative solutions that you can do, but being safe is really important in this space.
Yeah, that's why I always, it's easier for me to tell someone to buy hardware wallet, because I have to teach them only 2 rules. When you have a hardware wallet, never give anyone your 24 words, never put it anywhere, only use you can only use them with your hardware wallet, and always verify the address you want to send. And basically they are safe. Basically they are safe.
Yeah.
If they always verify their address, and if they never give anyone their words, they are pretty safe. And it gets their attention. So, but of course,
there's always going to be people who we're still educating, but I think that's all we can do. And, you know, we're always doing that as well at our company. We're making tutorials. We have, you know, community forums where you can learn how to safely store everything. And that's what we need to continue doing.
By the way, do you think people are lazy? Because some of the questions I get is like, use Google and type in 2 or 3 words.
I think, I mean, I don't want to say that people are lazy, but I think that some people just don't really know what to look for either. Because to me, a lot of the questions are very easy answers, but I've also worked in the space this whole time. So I think I have a bit of a, you know, an advantage in that, like, I know all the answers because it's my job. So I do think that people just maybe don't quite know what they're looking for always. So I constantly am trying to help like my friends who aren't into crypto. I teach them like keywords, key phrases, things that they can Google so that they can like understand a little bit better and do a bit more research on their own. But I think from the outside, it's still kind of a hard industry to jump into.
Yeah, well, my experience is quite different, because I know there are some hard questions. They are easy for me, for you, because we are in this space.
Yeah.
But there are like, can you tell me what is the wallet, for example, for Lisk? And then did you forget how to use Google? Because you can type Lisk wallet and you will have a lot of sites, a lot of rankings and things like that. So
they probably just want your opinion.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's that. Okay, let me move to another question. Sure. Do you participate in some local meetups, crypto conferences? Do you travel, visit people?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, before COVID and you know the current pandemic that we're in, I was traveling a lot of the time. So actually, I'm kind of grateful I've been home for this long. It's been nice. But yes, I think the biggest stuff I went to this year was DevCon. That was in Japan, and that was like a developer-focused conference. I learned a lot at that conference. Obviously, the developers in this space are incredibly brilliant. So that was a really good one in terms of education. And then I like to listen to the ETH Global events. If you just type in ETH Global, they hold a lot of events. So right now they're working on a hackathon for the decentralized web space. So obviously that's pretty relevant to us. So that's something that I find interesting. And then I also actually run my own meetup in LA. We'll see if it pops up again. We're kind of on pause, but it's another women focused meetup, and it's called the Rabbit Hole. So that's a women in blockchain group that is out here that we host events focused on different type of education within blockchain. And so yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. And I think another one coming up that will be really good is Future Proof. It's held by Dystopia Labs, and it's actually more of a Bitcoin audience. So that's kind of a cool one if you're looking to learn more about that side of things.
To be honest, I have never been to a crypto meetup, crypto conference outside of Poland. I will definitely.
Wow, you'll have to come out.
Yeah. It's easier for us this year because we don't have to use to get visas to United States in Poland anymore, because we used to have to get visas and it wasn't so simple.
Okay.
But first, I want to join Malta Blockchain Summit in Europe. So I think I will start in Europe. I have been to many great conferences in Poland. Of course, now there is this COVID thing, but I'm coming back with my own. In my city, I run some local meetup. It's called Crypto Stock, because there is crypto, and there is my city called Białystok, and it ends with stock, so it's Crypto Stock. And I'm sorry, I've lost you there for a moment. Can you repeat?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I was just saying I like the name crypto stock. That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that, and the next one will be on the 10th on July. So yeah, so we will meet again.
Nice.
Yeah, and yes, I want to join Malta Blockchain Summit, and maybe next year something in United States. I have a lot of friends in the States, and I want to join them, but it's a huge country compared to Poland or even Europe itself.
Yeah.
So it will be a lot of traveling because I have friends in New York and in Chicago and in LA and in Seattle. So
yeah, it's hard to hit the US. It's just, I mean, even living here, it's hard to see everything. So you got to pick and choose what cities you go to. But yeah, if you're ever on the West Coast, our company is located out here. We would love to meet you in real life.
Yeah, I will keep that in mind. Okay, so now my favorite part is, can you recommend some ladies to this High Heels of Bitcoin show?
Can I recommend you some people to be on the show, or like what recommendations would I have?
Well, I'm asking you to recommend someone. So who do you think you could invite to this show? Of course, it's ladies only.
Got it. I think, you know, I'm not sure if I can get her on the show, but somebody that I think you would love to talk to is Camila Russo from the Defiant. I don't know if you've heard of her newsletter. It's called The Defiant, and she's focused on writing about DeFi. And it's a great newsletter, and she's gotten really huge in the space. Everybody loves to hear her opinion on different projects. So that's somebody that I think would be really exciting for High Heels of Bitcoin. I think it could be great to get maybe like a female developer on here. So I do have a few friends in that realm. So I'll think about who would be the right person. But I think hearing from the developer side of things is always really cool, because I mean, while I think that I'm like, it's hard to be a woman in blockchain. Like, imagine being a developer female in blockchain. So it's like another level of like another layer on there. So I think that would be another great type of person to bring on. And then trying to think, maybe also somebody from maybe another person in a DAO, because it's a new type of organization and there's a lot of different DAOs popping up. I think that it would be cool for you to hear more about how those work. Yeah.
So you can always send them to me, or whisper a bit about this High Heels of Bitcoin to them if you know anyone. So
yeah, I'm definitely going to share it once it's live, and then I'll definitely recommend some people to you.
Yeah, as always, I will start a YouTube premiere. We record on, it's Tuesday, right? Today. So it's possible I will be ready for tomorrow or maybe Thursday. Nice. So I will send you the link.
Sounds good.
Yeah, okay. So let's move outside of crypto, blockchain industries. What are your hobbies? What do you like to do when you are not in crypto, when you are not in blockchain, when you forget about unstoppable domains?
Yeah, do I ever? It's hard, but I won't lie. I do a lot of Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, but like blockchain, crypto things, since I work in it full time, and then I contribute to things like Meta Gamma Delta on the side. So a lot of my time is dedicated to the space. But outside of it, I'm a big yoga enthusiast. So I do yoga definitely a few times a week, and I'm working on getting my handstands right now. So that's something. Yeah, so love yoga, and I'm very into music as well. I played the violin growing up, so I love to listen to music and go to concerts and just kind of do stuff like that. And outside of that, I think something that is kind of more educational that I'm trying to get into is more personal finance in the traditional world. I think I understand crypto really well, but I don't always think that I fully understand traditional finance, which is kind of funny because I think it's the opposite for most people. But I've been working in this space for so long that I think I only think about things in the terms of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and, DeFi and stuff. So I'm trying to reverse that and get more involved in traditional finance. So that's something that I've been doing during this quarantine.
So is it like you like classical music or instrumental music?
I like classical music because I played violin and I practice in the classical sense. But I also like EDM, I like pop music. So I kind of have a wide range of music. And since I'm South American, I also love like Hispanic music too.
All right. Speaking about South America, I think it was 2 interviews ago that I've had Catalina Castro from, I don't know if you know her, she's from Argentina.
Yeah, I do. She's really, really awesome, and her content is very cool.
Yeah, and she's very technical. I've seen some of her videos, like explaining ASIC boost for ASIC miners, and I was like, oh my god, I'm impressed.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Like there's a lot of women actually popping up in South America right now that are involved in this space. I was on a call the other day with 4 women, and we were all South American.
Wow.
And it was like super, and it was random. It wasn't like on purpose, but there were people from the maker community. There's another lady that's building her own project in DeFi, and this other woman was a developer. And so I was impressed. Like, I think we're coming up in the space, and I think that South America, because it's had so many issues with, traditional fiats in their own countries and in the countries in South America, I think that people there are even more inclined to get involved in blockchain.
Yeah, and that's great. Okay, my last question for you is about your future plans. Where do you see yourself in like 5 years?
In 5 years, that's a good question. I think I've thought about this a lot recently, and I think I do want to stay working in crypto because, like we were talking about, it's just so early days. Like, I can only imagine in 5 years what we'll have built. So I'm excited to be somebody who's worked in it from the beginning and the early, stages of crypto. So I hope to still continue working in it because I really do want to build some things that change the way current people, work and how people can use, their finances and really create alternative routes for them. So that's probably the first thing. And then I think other than that, like, I just hope that I'm happy and like I'm just still successful. I feel like I'm still pretty young. So I hope that by the time 5 years pass, I'll feel like I've gotten to a point where I'm really running my own, maybe it's a meetup group or some sort of, I want to have my own little thing. I don't know if it's really, I don't know if it's my own company, but I hope that I have some sort of thing that I can really own, whether it's a meetup group or a Medium account, some sort of content place where I can share my opinion and share my story. I'm
pretty sure you will have it. I will keep my fingers crossed for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And then basically that's all the questions I've had for you. It's been a great time talking to you, really. I think people will love it.
Well, thank you, Mike. Yeah, I've had a great time as well, and I always am learning new things from your channel, so I'll keep watching.
Okay, thank you.